talking about the plants that grow and the animals that move. The idea of fire in your world has been forgotten. Fire was a being, and is a being, that just consumes. But when you build a fire, you have company. You're not alone. And you have warmth, which you need. And you have the ability to produce water from fire. You do. Fire and water. You have the ability. It's called condensation. Heat and cold. You can produce your water. And then you understand the significance of the beautiful aspects of your entire body system. Entire system. And then you begin to go to another level of appreciating the body, not in an egotistical force, but in a process that nature will continually talk to you, and that you have abilities that haven't been acknowledged within the self yet, the can-dos, simply by thinking of it and watching the precipitation of the arrival of that particular thought in your thinking. The arrival of your own thought. The arrival of your own thought. Once you go beyond into the silent space, beyond thinking, you feel it begin to drop. We're going to call it the presence that wants to be recognized as presence everywhere. It'll come right down your spine. That's what causes all of these elevation of ones with crystal bodies, crystal skeletons, crystal skulls, the original ones, the ones that knew how to do it. They're transmitting devices. They're like, well, now they are, but they're like your skeleton in your physical form, but the light being knew it was using a higher frequency bone structure, crystal. Your bones are crystalline structure, but you forgot that your bones are your communication device. They can't move unless you produce the muscular and the sinew and the tendons to move it. So you're doing that. The forgetting of how you did it, you're taking it for granted. So the more you get into the bones of you, the thankfulness of the Holy Spirit that caresses your bones, that produces the blood, which is a liquid, that allows the production and the movement of electrical and oxygen through the body, that produces all things from within you. You attribute it now to foods, which they are here to support that purpose. You're moving from a chemical understanding of yourself to a light frequency understanding of yourself in the bending and confining of electrical portions of yourself to unitize a physical form. You have a left side and a right side of your body. You have a center portion of your body. You have an inner compass that knows where it's pointing to. The confusion coming within the compass is your misinterpretation of what attraction is. By attraction, I mean what your desires are. hidden. That's what causes the attraction. But it's not always what you call from a pleasant being. And by being I mean those that want to confuse you. You're coming, the population of your planet now is coming out of the confusion of it. You're going through it, the middle of it right now. It's all these whys and whats and things and how comes. You're going to accommodate yourself in the knowledge that you have been successful, of still being present when this event takes place. By that I mean the shifting of space. You've already been given a warning, many, of the approach and the significance of, and especially the understanding of spiritual teachings, however you interpret them within yourself. Your Earth's magnetic field disappeared for 2 hours 2 days ago. It was 3 o'clock your time here. The magnetic field around the planet protects from solar flares and what from you call gamma rays and other things like this. It has deflection capabilities. It went away. That was caused by this other system coming that no one wants to agree upon or acknowledge. And when you start experiencing that, you're going to feel your magnetic field shifting. Your own little magnetic field. You're electrical and magnetic. And you're electromagnetic. That's the union of the two, which is your spine. And the thoughts you accept are either shifted to the magnetic side or the electrical side. The electrical side is fast. It does not hesitate. The magnetic side has its own polarities, North Pole, South Pole type thing. Whereas the electrical side does not. It is movement. So you're bringing the two together as a definitive portion of yourselves. Your auric fields have 7 layers, 1 for each chakra. The blending in knowledge of how to breathe now, your auric field, is the next step. So you'll be breathing your own thoughts and processes as the chakras are being coaxed to work with one another in divine rules. Basically, one of the divine rules is you shouldn't kill anything. Now, for those that have the understanding, will know that if you are starving, nature will present herself to you. And the animal, you don't have to sacrifice it. It will sacrifice for you, if need be. Things will be there, and your petitioning will become more perfect, for you will understand how and why you received it. You're going through culture shock right now. Each country is in a different culture and different system of belief and different rules and different portrayals of consciousness and social conditions. In order to create a great union here, unity in space, there has to be the understanding of the equality of all things, from your cockroach to your human. Your cockroach is there to clean up after you. If you were clean, you would not need the cockroaches. They're doing you a service. You don't like them because you don't like seeing your own filth. So you're going through this cleansing interiorly and exteriorly. When you find out that you are the one that manifested the cockroaches, not only from your unpleasant living conditions, we'll say, you also begin to realize they're dropping out of nowhere on the floor in front of you from a thought you had. They're coming to clean up that thought, but you're not aware of that part yet. So as you begin to take more awareness of your pristine environment, I mean yours, by that you make it pristine, you find yourself slowing down a bit. You can't do everything at once. You make things in order. This goes here, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. Not scattered all over. And then you'll find out where and how you think. You'll find out where it occurs. Because it comes from behind you. And that's why you go forward. Your thinking's behind you, pushing you forward and up at an angle, probably like 52 degrees, the angle of the size of the pyramids. That's what you're being taught. How to go higher and still remain grounded. To receive instruction and thought. Everyone on your planet is practicing, at least at some manner, to become more divine. Just a little bit more than they were previously. And then their understanding of what that means is different with ones, always. Because there are ones that want to rule over others and not understand the equal position you're in here. The warnings are occurring all over your planet now from for the reason you need to pay attention. Your fish are dying in your oceans. Your whales are washing upon the beaches all over. What you're not aware of, the whales are the force within the ocean that carry the Spirit of God. God's path is through the water. The whales carry that spirit. You're in a situation that's critical. Planetarily and environmentally. You know the volcanoes are going off. You know the earthquakes are going off. You have swarms now in your northern Arizona, just a couple 100 miles from here, going off daily. It's a pre-seismic event before this Yellowstone thing goes. Your lava that's coming up in the plasma and the invisible force within the center of the planet is not recognized as also being the invisible force within you. So it's like mother calling children. Pay attention to yourselves. What is going on in you here? You're having a parent, which is your earth, because you're made of dust. And she knows the children are confused and in difficulty, and she's into the cleansing mode. The only thing that enlightens dust is water. That's it. Nothing else. The dust sees the light in the water. And the water produces from in the dust with the electrical forces allowed through it growth. And dust becomes human, which is what you've done. You all did that. And you have it in your books, dust to dust. Yet you forgot the process, and you used intermediaries. By intermediaries, your parents. You forgot that the dust contemplated the water. Where did that happen? It happened in the dew of the morning. The dew of the morning. That's why you have night and day. for heat and cold. Condensation, dust is enlightened by the water. It grows with the air. It's that simple, but you forgot how you did it. And then you relied on others to produce your form for you. You've come out from the dust, you're going to go back into the dust. And then the understanding of daylight and nighttime and temperature change and the dew formation out of air, just out of the air, enlightens the dust. Now you're doing that now, daily, but you don't know it. There's a different dew coming. And the dew is the recognition of the self. And it's basically the thankfulness that you have the opportunity for understanding the mystical nature of man while you're in it, while you're in man, while you're in mankind, when you're in the human condition. Because the dust of you is infatuated with the water, because it not only produces growth, it provides the ability to see the light, for the water is the light to the dust. And that occurs in the dew of the morning, and that's why you beings should understand night and day, and should understand what thankfulness is upon the sun coming up. Yeah. Because the sun comes, as you say, your earth turns, to heal you, to take you out of the darkness and out of the loneliness and to the understanding of the reflection of the dew. That's what happens daily. But no one appreciates the dew. But that's where your life comes from, literally. You know it comes from the water and the air. That's about it. But it comes from the fact that the earth turns and the sun is there. And condensation occurs and life again begins. Because if the sun did not come up, there would be no life. You wouldn't have water. It's produced by the condensation process. Your oceans too, because there's heat under the oceans. And the water temperatures are different. When you understand, literally, that you are more water and that's where your power is, in the water, because the electrical force can move through it so fast, you'll understand what manifestation is and how it's done. How it's called. You'll understand why and how your skin breathes for you to protect the fluidic forces in you, which are made up of water, but not quite water. A little more density in some of those things, like the blood and the lymphs. You're going to learn yourself as being unique, yet equal. Once you have a physical body, once you've incarnated, one time, you're going to continue incarnating. Why? Because you like it. That's why. And you enjoy it. That's why. Yet, you forget the difficulties involved here. And that's why you keep coming back and keeping coming back and keeping coming back. Because in the spirit world out there, no grand things, you don't do anything. You're not doing anything. You're sitting there blissing in the pot and having out and you're connected with everything, but the sense of accomplishment and a unitized sense of doing something, anything, walking, is not there, because you're everywhere, same time. So you're learning to be the median between those two places. You can be everywhere every time. That's not a problem. Yet there's a loneliness there that is not able to be described. We can say lonely, but you know what lonely is as a human amongst other humans. You can overcome that by recognizing another human, that you're not lonely. In the other place, you can't see anything separate from yourself. Well, you do make those petitions, so there is a separateness, so you can not feel lonely. That goes on. But the uniqueness is the overcoming of all of it. It's done here. That's why the earth is so special. And that's why your magnetic field disappeared. It brought a different level of awareness of the moment, we're going to call it. Might not remember it, but something different occurred to you at that time. A different sense of feeling, a sense of caution actually, a sense of awareness that be prepared for something, be aware now. That was the feeling that was perpetuated 2 days ago. The whole planet felt it.
On Sunday?
Yes.
In the afternoon?
Yes. Your time, 3 o'clock, basically, 4. It was a 2-hour length of period time. If you go back to then and think and remember what you were doing, how you felt, you're going to understand the bigger nature of yourself. Okay? The greater nature, the purposeful nature. We have to be careful because of the condition in the human is always wanting to hear good things, but not preparing themselves for the good things. You've got to be aware. You can't, as one that hasn't walked through the woods alone, just go walking through the woods in the jungle and expect to be safe. There's another consciousness running around there. And you're about to experience it now with the appearance of other entities. They're already here, walking around. And they are from a planet. But you have other entities flying around in your world, in your skies, and I don't mean UFOs, I'm talking about spirit beings that do not want to go higher and then enjoy nagging, chipping at the human to confuse him. It's like the ones that like to tease things and torture animals, those kind of beings in the spiritual world. And they're doing that to the human condition. So you have to be aware of that in a manner that you're safe and don't entertain the thoughts of those things. That's why you were given rules, certain conditions and understanding so you wouldn't become confused. One of them was, do not kill. Do not kill. And there was a reason they used the word thou. Because everybody knows what thou means. That means you. Because it begins with the letter T. And your letters have significance. That's why the letters of your name are important. They have significance. There has been words for a long time. There are forces before the words that are not words. They are